First, in your browser, type git download, click the first link, choose your operating system, and follow the instruction to install Git. Once done, you should be able to run git-v, and you'll get the version number of your Git. After that, you can set up your project, whatever you're working on. And once your basic setup is done, you would want to initialize a Git repository in your project. A repository is what Git uses to keep track of all the changes you made. Simply run git init, and this will initialize an empty repository. And if you see a warning like this, so using master as the name for initial branch, so they're saying this can change in future. So we want to configure the default name of our branch, and I'll talk about branch later. For now, simply copy this, paste it, and instead of this name, you're gonna say main. And then copy this next one, and again, instead of name, we're going to say main. So just run those two commands and you won't see that warning ever again. So now we have an empty repository initialized. To check the status of our repository, we run git status. And it is telling us none of our files are being tracked. So what does that mean? So in Git, we have two main things. One is called a staging area and one is called commits. A staging area is where we put all our files that we want Git to track. And once the files are being tracked and we are happy with the changes, we commit them. So we want to save the version for later in case we need them. Okay, so first we want to track these three files. To do that, we say git add and the name of our file, so index.html. And now if you run git status again, as you can see the HTML file is being tracked and ready to be committed, but rest of them aren't. So we want to add them too. So we could say git add and then main.js and style.css, or we could just say dot. And this will basically add all the files, no matter how many files we have. They could be inside directory, subdirectory, and all of them will be added to our staging area. So as you can see, all the files are now being staged. So let's say this is our basic project setup, and we want to make our first commit here. So we say git commit, and then we say -m for message, and we give a short message. So we can simply say init. So this is where we initialize our project. And then we could also say -m, and then a longer descriptive message. So we could say here initialization of our first project, things like that. But we don't need the long message necessarily. We can just have one short message. So git commit -m and init. If I hit enter, all the files are now committed. And now if I say git status, so we have nothing to commit because all the changes we made so far has been committed. So let's make some changes. So maybe I'll have a paragraph text here. And now if I run git status, as you can see, we have modified our HTML file. Now we could also see what we have modified. So if I run git diff and the name of the file we want to see index.html. If I run enter, as you can see, after our last commit, we have changed the index.html and we have added a paragraph file that it is showing us. So let's say I'm happy with this work too, so I'm to commit it. So we're going to say git add dot, again, stage all the files and git commit. And let's say add text, whatever is descriptive enough for you. And now again, everything is committed. Okay, let's say my commit message, I don't like it, add text. Let's say add paragraph text. So I want to modify the message. So in that case, I could say git commit -amend -m and the new commit message. So add p text for paragraph text, and our commit message will be updated. Okay, let's also add a heading. So here I can have another heading tag and hello world, whatever. And let's say I also make a new file, and this time it will be called env. So this is a file that will contain a lot of secret data. And since we made this change and we are happy with this change, we say git add dot. And now if we say git status, since we used add dot, all the files was added to staging area, including the env file. But this will contain a lot of secret that we don't want Git to keep track of, because that way if we share our project or upload it to GitHub, everyone will get access to it. So we don't track sensitive information. Maybe we could have another folder called node modules, and this could have thousands of files. So we don't want Git to keep track of this either. So to fix that, what we do is create a new file called git ignore. And here we say all the files that we don't want Git to track. So we don't want .env to be tracked. We don't want node_module folder and any file inside that to be tracked. And next time when I say git add dot, the env and node modules will not be tracked. But because of my mistake of adding all the files, the env is already tracked. So I want to untrack it. So to untrack it, we simply say git restore -staged and then name of our file env. Don't stage it. And now if we say git status, you'll see we have index.html, .env is removed, but it is also saying .git ignore was created. So we do want git ignore to be added. So we can say git add dot. And now only the files we want to be tracked is tracked. Even though we said git add dot, the env or node modules folder was not tracked. So now we can make a commit. So we can say add git ignore file. Here I'm saying add instead of adding. That is because in commit you usually use action words. Okay, now let's say I want to do some experimental work, but that might fail. So what I want to do is create a new version of this. So save this version safely and create a new version and work on that. So in scenarios like that, we create what is called branches. So by default, one branch is already created called main. Now I want to create a new branch. Let's say I want to call it experiment. So I can run git branch and I want to call it, let's say, my experiment. And then if I run git branch -a, you'll see we have two branches, main and experiment. but we're still on main branch. So we're going to make all the changes in experiment branch. So first we're going to switch to main branch. So we say git switch, and we're going to switch to my experiment. And whatever change we make in experiment will not affect the main branch. So let's say here I'd make a new file, make some changes in this file also. Let's say whatever experiment I was doing is a success. So I'm happy with the code and I want to commit it. So we say git add dot git commit dash m, and let's say add test.js. Okay, now I am happy with all the changes. So I want to bring these changes to our main branch. So to do that, first we switch to our main branch. So we say git switch main. But in the main, we didn't have the test script, or we didn't add it in our HTML. That was in our my experiment branch. But now we want to add those work here in the main branch. To do that, we say git merge. Again, we have to be on the main branch before, and then we write the name of the branch we want to merge. So my experiment. And here, all the changes from my experiment branch has been added to our main branch. And now we're done. We can delete the my experiment branch by running git branch -d for delete and my experiment. And if we run git branch -a, you'll see now again we have just one branch. And if you're serious about mastering Git, you should check out Git Mission. It's an interactive platform where you learn Git by solving various problems in real projects given to you by your virtual team. So let me show you. Click on Explore Mission and let me choose a mission. So let's say I choose this one. And here our senior developer Marcus is telling us to switch to the main branch. So if I didn't know how to do that, I'll click on this Learn tab and learn how to do things like switching to brand, how to merge brand. And once I'm done, I'll go back to Practice tab and do what he said. So I want to go back to main branch. So we say git switch main. And once done, he's telling us to merge it with the experiment. So we know what the command is from the Learn tab. So we say git merge. And that's it. We completed a mission by solving the problem Marcus given to us. So this was just one. We have lots of problems that you can solve and master Git, and actually become confident in using Git for professional setting for your next job. Okay, let's go back. Okay, let's say whatever the changes we made, now we want to push it on GitHub. So we can save it remotely, not just locally, and then other people would be able to see it and work on it if they want. So simply go to GitHub, and if you don't have an account, create an account. After that, you can click on New to create a new repository, give it a name, whatever the name you want. You could add a description of this repository and the visibility. If it is public, everyone will be able to see it. If it is private, only you and the people you invite will be able to see it. So let's keep it public and click on Create. And we're already done with git init add commit. So we just have to run these 3 lines of code to push our code. Before we do that, we should set up SSH, because SSH is more secure and convenient. So to do that, you can watch any tutorial. You also have instruction on Git Mission. So here I can click on set up SSH. And setting up SSH is very simple. So first you run this command to generate a public and private SSH key. Here you'll use your own email. Once done, you run this command on Mac and Linux, or this command on Windows to copy the public key. Once done, you go to settings of your GitHub profile. So GitHub settings, click on SSH, and then you click on new key. You can name it whatever you want and paste the copied public key. And that's it. SSH is set up. Once done, we can simply copy these 3 lines of code and paste it. And if you used a passphrase while setting up SSH, you'll have to enter that. And now if I refresh, you'll see all my code is added to GitHub. We have 4 commits, so we can see all the commits here. Okay, great. So let's continue. Okay, now let's say I want to see all the commits I made. To do that, I can run git log, and this will show us all the commits we made. And if we had many more, we could use arrow key to move up, down, and Q to exit. So these are all our commits, and this is commit hash. Hash is unique identifier of commit. It is automatically generated, and here are the commit messages. You could also say git log -- one line to print each commit in one line. Okay, let's say out of curiosity, now I want to know how our code looks like during this first commit. To do that, we can say git checkout, and I say main, sorry, not main, we say git checkout, and then paste the hash, hit enter, and this is how our code look like during the init or initialization. Very simple. We don't have the test.js. Now these 2 files are as is because Git isn't keeping track of them. Okay, now let's go back. So to go back to most recent stage, we say git checkout main, and this is the most recent state of our project. And let's make some change here. Let's say I made a lot of changes in my project, but I don't like them. So now what I want to do is, however my code was during this commit, I want to go back and delete all the changes I made after this commit. So to do that, we say git reset --hard, and again we copy the hash, or we could say head. This would also point to the first commit. Hit enter, and all the changes we made after the test commit has been deleted. So now we can work again. Okay, if I go back to our repository, here you'll see GitHub is telling us to add a readme. So a readme is a file with the name readme.md. And here basically we describe what our repository is, how to use it, how to set up code, how to install it, things like that. To do that, we use what is called Markdown language. So Markdown is very simple. You can watch YouTube tutorial to learn Markdown very simply. Markdown is very simple and easy to use. So for example, hashtag means it's a title. Just text means paragraph text. You could have quote, you could have code block. So things like that, very simple. So in your code, you could simply say hashtag, whatever the title of your code is, and some description. Once done, you can again commit them. And to push them on GitHub, with this time we can simply say git push, and all the changes will be pushed to GitHub. And in the GitHub, if I refresh, GitHub will automatically preview our Markdown. So this was it. You want to master Git and its advanced capabilities like resetting commits, reverting commits, Git bisect, cherry pick, things like that. You should check out Git Mission.